Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Nick, your host of On the Scene with Martini. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget, you are the scene.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Nick on the scene with Martini. Today, I'm here with Ryan from Footballhead, Chicago native. How you doing, Ryan?
I feel particularly good today. I've been gone for a minute and I'm super happy to be home here in my house with my girlfriend. So,
Fair enough. Back to the regular grind, I guess.
yeah, only to actually leave on Thursday. My cousin, who's one of my best friends, we grew up together, we're the same age. He's getting married in Montana this weekend. So, it's
You're a
like,
busy man this summer.
dude, for better or for worse. But I'm obviously like really excited to celebrate him, and I've never been to Montana and only know like the beautiful commentary that surrounds that area. So I'm hoping we get a glimpse of that shit. But then yeah, come Sunday, I'm like home until Riot Fest. So that
Sweet.
yeah, awesome.
So, if you wouldn't mind just kind of talking about like the formation of Footballhead, kind of how you guys started, and we'll kind
Yeah,
of go
dude.
from there.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that so far football has like surpassed any sort of expectations I've ever had for it, like tenfold. Obviously I met you on our full US with One Step Closer. But yeah, when I started Footballhead, I have one of my best friends, Snow, who plays in our band. He's recorded every song we've ever put out, and primarily, for the longest time, it was just basically like me and him in Footballhead. But he was kind of like it was more labeled like my solo thing. But he was obviously a collaborator and a contributor the entire time. He put out a solo EP in shit, dude. I don't even remember 2021 or 2022. And it got a ton of love online. And at the time, him and I were collaborating on this other project called Spitball, which that music never came out, but we wrote like a whole record basically um, under the moniker Spitball. And then he was like, "Hey, I've got some other ideas. I want to flush them out." So he put out this EP called Suburban Indie Rockstar, which actually got a bunch of love online. He started to pick it up, and I kind of just like saw how his workflow individually was like working for him a lot. And I've always been like a band guy. Like I've always played in bands, and you kind of go through the checks and balances of like writing new music and making sure everyone's happy and stuff. But like when I saw Snow just like take the wheel and fucking fly with it, and be like, "Who wants to join me?" I really respected and like had a lot of interest in that process. I actually played bass in Snow's band, and it was just so much fun to like be the wind at his back. So I was just like, "Yo," I was playing in a band called Kirby Grip at the time, and I was just like, "Hey, like I've got some ideas that I feel like are a little left of center for Kirby. Um, can I like record them with you?" And we literally just made the first EP, the Kitchen Fly EP, on his laptop, and it was just me and him, just fake drums, digital, nothing like nothing analog, everything digital. And it was super fun, like process to make that EP. But then I threw it up online too, and not necessarily comparable to the immediate like fire that Snow's first EP got, but like a bunch of people started listening to it like locally. My first EP, and then I got asked to play shows, and I never had any intention of playing live. The whole project was just supposed to be like, it's like a fucking cliche tale. You hear it all the time. Like people are like, "Yeah, I just wanted it to be a recording thing," but I truly did. I was like, I'm never gonna play this music live. Like I just want to like pump out songs and like have some fun with it. But me and Snow like started recruiting our friends to play with us, and then like I write at a pretty fast pace, along with like now Snow's contributions. Like Jesus Christ, like we had new music all the time,
Yeah.
and we were getting asked to play shows, and the vibe was right, and everyone in the band like really enjoyed um, what we were doing. And then like before long, I would say like inside the first year, like I think so. I think the Kitchen Fly EP came out July 2022, and then the first show was in October 2022. And by the time it was like October 2023, we like opened for Say Anything in LA. So that doesn't come with a lot of good luck, a lot of like people that we know, and um, obviously some people like liking what we were doing. But at that point, like we were a band, we were collaborating in a band sphere. Everyone was wearing like football head on their chest, and today it is very fucking different than it was when it first started because it's us, it's Liam, Andrew, Snow, me, and like we like Jin played bass for us on the last tour where you saw us at Reverb. Um we are like a full-fledged band with like a ton of dialogue and conversation and practice every day and shit. So at this point, I think we're in it to win it.
Yeah. Can only go up from here, I feel like. And I have a few questions just to base off that. I guess for starters then, when you started Footballhead, what was the name like what was the idea behind the name of Footballhead?
um it's not as like Nickelodeon-y as like people I think like want it to be.
Yeah,
Uh,
like everyone wants it to be Hey Arnold, but it's is it not?
yeah, like so in essence it is, but like more low key. Like I needed a name. Um I don't know if do you have me I don't know if you have me on Instagram, but my personal handle is Noel Gallagher because my last name's Nolan.
Hmm.
And I like had this idea like I wanted to call like when I was just writing through the lens of a solo project, I just wanted to call the band Noel Gallagher, like Nol Gallagher, because like my last
Okay.
name's Nolan.
Yeah.
But then I was like, that kind of fucking sucks. And then I talked to a bunch of like music law people, and they were like, the phonetic spelling and like pronunciation of that could get you in a lot of legal trouble if you ever like picked up speed because you're not pronouncing Noel Gallagher any differently than his name is pronounced. And so I was just like, fuck. And we were actually filming the a video that my girlfriend ended up making for a detour, like the first song on the first EP. And I did not have a name for the band at that point in time. And we were leaving like one of the scenes in Palmer Park in Chicago, kind of by my house. And like football had like dawned on me. And then I looked up online and like there was some kid in Russia making music under the name Footballhead, but it didn't look like it was very serious. And there wasn't a lot of eyes on what he was doing. And I was just like, I don't think there's a world where me football head and him football head ever intersect. And yeah, like, dude, the hardest part about making a band name is like fucking picking one that isn't taken.
Yeah.
There's a
Especially now.
gazillion, dude, especially now, and there's a gazillion like, dude, you could Google so many band names on Spotify and just see the tens and tens and hundreds of bands that have chosen the same name. But yeah, poor Russian football head. I don't see him on anything anymore. He might have taken his shit down.
You
And
you
if
took over the scene for him.
dude, if he ever is listening to this, I want to express my remorse and selfishness in the moment. But yeah, just like in this fucking Western world, like no one had taken that name, so I was just like, cool, this is the name. I don't hate it, so this is gonna be what it is, and I don't like super hate it yet. Like I actually like I like it. It's a cool name. There's a lot of heads and there's a lot of football shit out there, but it's easy to say and like looks fucking cool on a shirt, so whatever.
Yeah, and that's half the battle, like merch and branding, especially for like a band in this kind of scene, like that's half the battle. So even just being able to get like a decent Instagram handle, a decent email, like that
Yeah,
also plays a lot more than I think people realize.
absolutely, dude. Those are small wins, but they're massive. Like to just have that real estate be clear and just take it. So yeah, we even got like a URL. Like I own that. I think it's Footballhead Shy like Chicago. But yeah, just it's those little wins where you're just like, that's shit you don't have to worry about.
Absolutely. So like basically when you first started then this was supposed to be a solo project. I know that when we talked about it in person, like you said the bass player, you guys kind of have like a revolving bass player, but like he plays a good bit. Is that kind of like something when you first started, when you were like, okay, we might start touring? Was it kind of always just going to be like you, Snow, and then a revolving band and it kind of stuck? Or are these friends or
That's a good question. Yeah, definitely was always going to be me and Snow because we've been like there at the inception of the band. Uh, Liam's played every single show except like the first show he didn't play. So he played like the second show onward. There's been some times where we've had to like play as a four piece or whatever. But he's been there for a long time. And then we've had a couple drummers. My friend Robbie and my friend Matt have both drummed. It's always been a band of friends for sure. Like no one has ever been out of left field. Like Chicago ain't Nashville or LA. Like you gotta, I mean, there's a massive music scene here, but like, dude, we know enough people that like want to play in cool bands. So we're lucky. But yeah, my friend Matt plays in a band called Origami Button. Um, and he's great. He's fucking killer. He did amazing things for us. Robbie too plays in a band called Red Scarves. Tried and true fucking pro. Andrew has like a metal and rock background that I think is so pertinent and so fitting for the band. And Andrew also has like this availability to tour like we've been doing for the last 9 months. And he's always been a friend since I've met him. Been a really good friend of Snow's for a very long time. And I feel like, dude, half the shows we play, people are like, some like half the time people are like, "Yo, that was sick," or and the other half people are like, "Yo, your drummer was fucking awesome." And like, Andrew's definitely been such a like awesome addition to the band. And then yeah, with bass, my friend Brandon played the first show, and then Adam is like, dude, we talk to Adam all the time. He's kind of like, if he's not there, he's kind of like, he's like Footballhead's first bass player and, or like second, I guess, but like he's played so many shows. And
Mhm.
he started the Academy as the emo band out of Chicago. He's kind of like big brother, I would say, to all of us. Definitely helped like promote the early days of Footballhead and got us like some of our opportunities like are because of things he finessed for us. So I don't take any of that for granted, bro. He helped us out a lot and he's still like always with us. We actually play Riot Fest on the same day this year. So it's gonna be fun to watch him play with the Academy. I've never seen the Academy is, so I'm excited.
So you guys are pretty solidified then with like your current lineup per se. Like that's kind of like next album. Obviously, like nothing might be set in stone, but the goal is to kind of keep what you guys have now and keep running with it.
Totally, dude. Like the goal is, and Jin's helped us out so much. He lives in California and he was in one of my first bands, Pocket Hole. And he's been a friend of mine since college. We met when we were 18. Um, but like our goal is to, yeah, keep as many faces, like in the realm as we can. And like our vibe's really high and great. So I just want to keep promoting that kind of energy.
Yeah, and it probably keeps it easier to keeping a solidified band just in terms of like writing, touring, knowing each other's like vibes all and on the stage. I mean, like that's half the battle too. Like you're living with these guys essentially for like you said you toured for like 9 months. Like you guys are kind of like there together. So liking
Yeah.
them, knowing them is also a huge help too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to shout out my boy Danny too. He played bass for us on the Super Bloom tour. Um, we have like it's like a I think like what Footballhead is really is like an extended uh like network. I hate to use that word because it's like so corporate, but like
Yeah.
it really is this like it's like a gang.
Yeah.
Um, like there's your central fixtures, I think, but like like the gang rolls to every show. It's like, especially around here, like our friends are super supportive and like believe in what we're doing. And it's so nice to have that universe to rely on because it's like what keeps us going for sure.
When we were talking earlier before we started recording, you were talking about how you were in a few other bands prior to Footballhead. How did you kind of know that? Well, I guess I have two questions for this. How did you kind of know that Footballhead was going to be the one that you kind of took off with? And then I guess my second question would be like, do you have a different approach as to what you did before, or is it kind of the music that you're playing now just kind of got received a little bit better by the public?
Those are great questions. Uh, how did I know that this shit was gonna take off? To be fully transparent with you, and I'll use take off in like quotes, but how did I know
Yeah.
that this shit had some fucking legs to it? I didn't. I straight
Okay.
up had no idea. Um, I I feel lucky that people received it well because, dude, I've played numerous fucking rooms to no one in my life. There's been some, I mean, luckily with Chicago, it's such a like a what's the word I want to use? It's a close network of people, and if you play in this scene, people will show out for you, and they love to be in the clubs and like DIY spaces too. Back in the day when there was way more of those here, but dude, we would play and like that whole community would come out. Like we never really played to like I don't want to like make it seem like we played to like five people. Like we have before, but like in previous bands of mine, the Chicago community was so strong, so they'd roll out to shows. And forgive me, what was the second part of your question?
Second part was sorry. It was first one was how did you know that it was gonna work? And then second off, do you have a different approach to this
Oh,
band? Or is it kind of just again, it's working, keep going?
dude, I would say that. I would say riding the high, riding the wave, riding the winds. Like songwriting wise, I definitely have made a conscious effort to try and like evolve my like formula and approach for sure. But like it's still the same songwriter, it's still the same lyricist. And you made a comment now I'm remembering about like genre wise. Like I've played beach rock before, dude. I've played like psych rock. Like I'm a fan of like a lot of genres, but like my bread and butter has always been like alternative music. Like always, whether that's, softer, like more jangly alternative music or like really heavy music. I've been, dude, my first Warped Tour, I was fucking 13 years old, 2007. Like I have been watching bands like, Bayside to Circus Survive to fucking Throwdown to Killswitch Engage, like that whole scene of bands like shaped the adult I am today for sure. So I would say that that's always been my bread and butter, and like maybe what's happening is that because that's been my bread and butter for so long, and like Footballhead is in the vein of those bands, like maybe it's coming through more natural. I would
Yeah.
say that's probably like the most likely answer I could give you.
When I ask a question like that, people always bring up Warped Tour, and it just makes me regret not being a 90s baby because I was never around for Warped Tour.
Oh
Like
yeah,
ever. Like 2007, I was 5. So like I couldn't, you know what I mean? I couldn't be two step into Kill Switch Engage yet.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude. I mean, I feel sorrow for you there, I
Right?
guess. But, that was such an eye-opening experience being like a young kid, like consuming all that. And obviously, if you have your own degree of like that emergence of like scenes now and shit like that. Um, but Jesus Christ, like, see, that's the thing, bro. Is like I was a little too young for it too. You know what I mean? Like, although I'm older than you, like I really wish I was fucking like 19,
Yeah.
in that moment because I could have like more vivid memories of what was occurring. But dude, from like those days on, like that shit was so inspiring, and it still breathes like life into like what I do today. Like even all that shit, like however, it's like almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So, so fucking cool though. Like
When
so
I
cool.
saw you guys on the bill, I'm a huge Drayton Koyo fan. So when I saw you guys on the bill, and we'll touch on like your tour and stuff. But one thing that I always love watching is Audio Tree. That's like one of my bread and butters, and I feel I really like Audio Tree that they cater, especially to the alternative, hardcore, indie punk community, like kind of like you said, our scene. How is it like? Because that's a Chicago-based program, and I believe your specific, uh, you guys were part of like the Chicago Selects, I think it was called. Like there's kind of sub.
Yeah.
What was it like being invited to something like that?
I mean, that's another like pastime of mine, much like it sounds like it was for you, just watching audio trees online for eternity. So to be asked, I think we were the first Chicago Selects episode to be recorded and released. I think we did that in January. Um, but that was so fun. Like I said, like Chicago has a really robust and tight knit like music scene. So I know some of the people that work at Audio Tree, but I even like left a comment on our session, which has been watched a lot for some reason. But
Almost 100,000
yeah,
last time I checked. Yeah.
I don't really get the fucking nuts and bolts of all that, but I'll take it. It looks good. Um, no, but that was like a dude world class experience. Like like from start to finish, from arrival to like helping us load in because like we needed to get our shit in a freight elevator to like the common area. Like it really did feel like a rite of passage, especially because we live right down the street. So like them asking us to do it, and then like, dude, so many fucking people who, like yourself included, come up to the merch table and they're like, I saw you guys on Audio Tree, that shit rocked. And like I can't put a value amount on like what that experience meant for our band. Like being legitimized by being on Audio Tree and being seen on Audio Tree is like a way that a lot of people have discovered our band. So I'm super grateful to be like included in that conversation.
I think it's cool too with Audio Tree. It's just very like promotional. Like their goal is to promote you. I feel like, especially in the YouTube video scene. And also like it's very for a scene that's usually a lot, like you said, a lot of DIY, it's very well done, which I think
Mhm.
is kind of a nice change of pace too. Like everything sounds sharp, everything's sharp about it. Like the cameras are perfect, the cuts are amazing, and like they know like the questions that they ask, like it's also cool to see like an indie band being treated like kind of a different type of way. Do you know what I mean? Like
No, I agree with you,
I like that approach too about it.
dude. Complete, and I actually won't leave the Rockstar and like world class experience at the end of that day. Like even in email threads, post production, it would just be like, hey, you know, we're gonna send you this cut of it. Like, let us know what you want change, or like, are you okay with the way? And I ended up obviously we got a cut that was like so good of the session. I was just like, I don't have any notes, and I just feel like thankful for like again being included in this conversation. So whatever whatever like instincts you have, like we'll roll with them. And yeah, it just ended up I think it ended up like coming out really cool because you get to hear how we sound, but then I do think that elements of like our personalities came through in the interview component. And Jason was chill as shit to like talk to, but yeah, we're definitely grateful like on all cylinders with how that fucking came out.
Was this year kind of like your guys' biggest year in touring per se?
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
Like for we've done like a couple one-offs and a couple weekenders, but December we did like a run with our friends New Age Thief. They live in here in Chicago. Um, and we opened for Taking Back Sunday. That was kind of like a run out to that show and then home. And then we did a spring tour with Super Bloom, and then we obviously wrapped up this like 5 week shit with One Step Closer.
You were also
So
with Hot Mully and the Used, right?
yeah, we did a show with the Used. We played some crazy shows this year. We did
Yeah.
a show with the Used here in Chicago, and then we did do a one off with Hot Mulligan, which was so fucking crazy. I was really, really sick that day. I got really ill probably after I met you. But yeah, we like played a show in Brooklyn and fucking booked it through the night to get to Columbus, Ohio at like 3 o'clock. We had a flat tire on the trailer. It was a whole debacle, but we made it in time for the show and we played the show. And then I just like fucking like I gave up. I needed to be medicated.
Yeah, at least it was towards the end then.
Yeah, yeah, no, we
Right.
made it. We made it. And that and Hot Mulligan was like I've seen them before. I saw them play Riot, and then I went to their after show for Riot last year, and like it's wild the mountains they move. Like they're such a fucking force to be reckoned with, and they are fucking chill. They're really great people. Um, who this is completely aside from me saying this, but they've actually like a couple of them like love Footballhead, and the fact that they asked us to be a part of the sold out underplay tour that they did, like it was such an easy like fuck yeah we're doing it. So
Absolutely. So you said, was it One Step Closer who got you guys onto the bill with Drain, or
yeah.
what was your guys' kind of relationship? I mean, that's a Scranton, Wilkes-Barre hardcore punk band, and then a Chicago indie band. Like, kind of, how'd you guys meet?
Um, it's funny. I had to refresh. Well, like I didn't expect Ryan. They've been touring for so long. They meet a million people, but the first time I met Ryan, uh, was a show that was occurring at B Kitchen here in Chicago on the same day Nine Inch Nails was closing out Riot Fest like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Angel Dust played the B Kitchen and One Step Closer opened the show. and Jin, who played bass for us, had done some merch designs for One Step Closer at that time. So I saw that show, and that was the only show I've seen One Step Closer play. One Step Closer and Angel Dust, pretty fucking sick show.
Love
Um,
both of them.
yeah, yeah, but it was literally like a shake hands and like walk away type introduction. Um, from my understanding, like I talked to Coleman and Ryan, and it's like, they were trying to put it together a tour that had some versatility as far as sounds go, and like they wanted like a rock band that like wasn't a hardcore band. And that's what I think we are, is like we're like more of like a heavy alternative band and not like a hardcore band. I don't think we'll like ever, fully lean into that, just because that's not like our, like, although we like love hardcore music and respect hardcore music, like we're gonna always be like a more heavy alternative band. He just said that like they listened to a couple bands that were potentials for that opening slot, and they like liked us the best, and they asked us, and we were just like, that was like a such an easy like, fuck yeah, we want to do this shit. Because One Step Closer rocks, and it ended up being like such an amazing time getting to know all those guys and being together. We grinded for so long and like traveled for so long. We had a really sick off day in North Carolina where we got to kick it stateside magnitude, One Step and us, and I'll cherish that day for a long time because it was so badass, like all the activities we did and just like chilling. But Jesus Christ, as far as like supportive guys, and we talk about class, like One Step Closer is like a classy fucking group of dudes. They rule, and it was just fun. Like, dude, we started talking to them immediately. And we're like, oh, dude, like you guys literally have the same sense of humor as us and shit.
Yeah.
It was such an easy crew to move town to town with, so I'm grateful for that.
Do you feel like it's easier for like I personally I talked to Julian from Commentage and I always reference my older shows. Um Julian from Commentage and he was a big fan. We talked about how like bills now are kind of being a little bit more wonky. It's not just like for hardcore bands, for indie bands. Do you feel like it's easier to not, I don't want to say be heard, but I feel like it helps you guys stand out too
Hmm.
with playing like a hardcore heavy show. I mean, with the Drain, it was like a straight edge band, pop punk band, mega hardcore band. Like
Yeah,
that's a very diverse. Do you feel like it's easier for you guys to be known then or shown, I guess,
yeah, for
being
sure.
on kind of a group like that?
Dude, I love the eclectic bill. Like I even saw like the Koyo tour is like Ben Quad and Koyo. Like I'd never ever thought that those two bands would share a stage together, but because they touch different universes, I think those shows will like bring in more people, and someone who might like Ben Quad will leave loving Koyo and vice versa. And I think that was One Step Closer's intention with including us on a bill, is just like they know how we sound, they know how they sound, and they're like, fans of ours might like you guys, and like that was kind of their expectation. And at the end of that tour, dude, like I swear to God, like fucking 20% of our Instagram following is just from that tour. Um,
Yeah.
like a ton of people really got like exposed to us in such a positive way. So I feel so grateful. Like, dude, literally, like I can't say enough words of like gratitude, like unforgettable opportunity, and I think we made the most of it too.
Yeah, and Drain being Drain too, I feel like definitely helps. I mean, they're probably right now, like in my opinion, the biggest hardcore band in
For
like
sure.
my time. So like I feel like that also helps to be on a bill with them too.
Dude, they were so nice.
Oh, Sammy and they're all great dudes for
Dude, they're all
sure.
so fucking cool. Like they all, and again, when you play a show like that, even a band like Drain, like I've seen Drain a couple times, fucking chaotic ass, fucking awesome band. But because we're the first band on a bill like that, like I just try to like inherently stay out of people's hair, not to like I love to talk to, Sammy or anybody in the band, but I was just like, I'll play it cool and like not get in anybody's way. And all of them like came and talked to us basically, like more or less at one point in the night was like, dude, never seen you guys play, like fucking love what you do, like the melody on this song was sick. And like I did notice that they did watch our set. I had no expectation of them doing so, but there's another group of guys that like I'm like, dude, those guys talk the talk and walk the walk, they're fucking
Yeah.
cool. So
And I can't speak on the other bands, but for Drain and Koyo, I've seen both of them a numerous amount of times. I always respect that about them. They always show out for the smaller bands too, which is sick. I mean, you just like look over and you see Sammy bopping his head. Cody's in this, and he doesn't even sit on the side half the time. He's just like in the crowd, which is it's cool to see stuff like that. Even though it is a smaller, it's at the Reverb in Reading, but it's still cool to see bands like that come and support everyone. And
everyone, dude.
that's the one good thing too about the scene. It's like I feel like it's almost expected as a fan. If I'm not there when the first band's that playing, I'm pissed. Like
Yeah,
everyone tries to show up when they can.
dude. That's another aspect of this tour. As you make that comment, like people fucking showed up for our set. Like I was like, I look at the fucking call sheet and it's like 7 p.m., 6:30, 7:30, and I was just like, Jesus, my friends at home would not show up till 9:30 and like would totally miss us. But dude, every night, like people who love alternative music are there for the end. I mean, dude, you paid whatever the fucking ticket cost. I don't know what it was, but like you pay whatever the ticket costs, you might as well get all the bands like you can fucking watch. And that was kind of the lens with which we were witnessing people, approach that show. And yeah, the fact that like our crowds were never going to be as big as like people who played at fucking 9:30, but the fact that they were like somewhat comparable
Yeah.
was massive. So
I guess the main thing now then the big thing coming up for you guys is Riot Fest. I mean,
mhm.
that's probably huge for you guys. I mean, you said being Chicago native, like that's probably like the cream of the crop. What's that kind of feeling playing there?
That was a bucket list for this band. Like we were just like, can we do it? And we know that they try to pick like one local. I don't know if we're necessarily like slotted as the local,
Hmm.
but we're literally on the fact that we're on the fucking flyer all is the universe. Like we're on the very last fucking line. But I'm just like hell yeah, because that flyer also says fucking Blink 182 on it.
Jack
Um,
White, I think
Jack
Sex
White,
Pistols, like there's a lot of cool bands gonna be
dude,
there.
there's motherfucking Weird Al on that shit.
I know, I saw that.
Yeah. So no, dude, to even be included in that is so sick. I'll never forget when like our manager called me and was like, "You got a second? You want to hear some cool news?" And then like we got asked to do it, and I actually fucked with everyone because we were on tour with Super Bowl and we were in Austin, and everyone was kind of like scattered about this campus where we were playing that night. I was like, "Yo, it's urgent. Meet at the van," and everyone was like, ghost face, like expecting me to deliver some bad news, and I was like, you guys want to play Riot Fest this year? And like everyone was like, fuck you. Like I almost got killed by everyone.
That's a
But
cruel joke if you're not being true about it.
dude, I was being a dick in that moment. I already gave my sorries, but they were just like, what? Like they thought some disaster struck or some shit. But yeah, bro, Riot Fest is massive. I can't wait. I've attended so many years. I've seen so many Riot Fest sets. Um, and there's always like a hope that you can do some shit like that, but there's powers way beyond you that kind of dictate those kinds of things. So the fact that this year they wanted us is sick, and that's gonna be a really really fucking great weekend for us. There's a couple more things that may or may not happen around that I can't talk about right now, but um, that's gonna be a fucking sick ass weekend for us.
When you guys are on the Riot Fest, Bill, do you guys play one set a day or you slot it for one day? I didn't see the schedule or anything come out.
We're just playing Sunday.
Just Sunday?
Yeah, we're just playing Sunday. I think we're one of the first bands, if not the first band, on Sunday. Um, but yeah, Green Day's that day. Um,
Pretty sick.
yeah, super sick. Like my best friend from childhood's gonna be here. I have my other best friend too, like from California. They're all like trying to get their reservations inside this two flat that I live in, so they can crash on the floor on the couch in the guest room wherever. But it'll be packed. It'll be a chaotic fucking time, but yeah, we're so ready for it. The one, that's like our big Chicago thing for the rest of the year. So we really got to make it count.
And I feel like you really can't get much bigger than that. Like
I guess not.
that's
Yeah.
like the shit. And then I just want to talk about too, like how did you guys become friends with Jesse Cannon? I mean, just from like a quick Google search, he produced stuff with like Basement, Animal Collective, The Misfits. How did that relationship kind of form?
Jesse has mastered a bunch of stuff for Tiny Engines, our label. Um, like he did a Somos record. I think he might have like formerly done like in the mid 2010s, like a bunch of the Tiny Engine stuff. And I'd always known his name. And I'd always watch his YouTube channel actually because he gives a lot of like free marketing advice for small bands and just like ways to put your best foot forward and shit. Um, but yeah, Will, who runs our label, was like, I can reach out to Jesse, and obviously like I saw the things he had done before, and I was just like, yeah, dude, if we can get Jesse to fucking master it, then hell yeah. So yeah, the 1-2 punch so far has been Snow mixing and recording our shit, and then Jesse's mastered it, and Jesse, I've gotten to meet Jesse, and actually we went out one night for a night of debauchery, and he's got a million fucking cool stories. That guy rocks. So it was
Absolutely.
nice to meet him because he lives in Brooklyn, so otherwise I like wouldn't get the chance to meet him.
Gotcha. I guess um going from there, you guys have about, I think it was like 35,000 monthly listeners, which is pretty, I mean, like as someone that's never been in a band, I feel like if I had, 1,000 people listen to me a month, I'd be like stoked about it.
Yeah.
35 is pretty cool. What's kind of like the goal this year with like new music, or is it kind of just going to be filling up because you guys don't have many autumn and winter dates out yet, right?
No, not yet.
So is your goal kind of just going to be keep playing shows, keep playing the uh Before I Die and Overthinking Every, like keep playing that stuff?
So the primary goal of this band for the rest of the year is to finish recording our record, which maybe we haven't like officially announced yet, but people just like know another one's coming because you have to put one
Yeah.
out. So I can say with confidence to whoever's listening to this that there will be like new music this year for this band. But we have really high expectations for ourselves with our next record. Super fucking stoked about it. Stoked about where the band's headed. The dialogue every day is songwriting, demos, melodies. Um, and now this is like the first record where like I wrote all the songs and overthinking everything. That was like all me. And like this is a super collaborative record. And it's very much so collaborative for the better. So, dude, I'm just like so amped. Like as soon as I get home from Montana next week, like it's like back to fucking tracking and shit. There's gonna be some cool media stuff we do too. I feel like that's kind of like a department that we want to put emphasis on is just like including more like video content.
Like behind the scenes kind of stuff and like
Yeah,
interviews and
shit like that, but also like media to accompany our music. Like
okay.
um my girlfriend Cal has done a great job with like a ton of like canvases and shit like that, but like we really want and not in the traditional fucking TikTokable share sense because we will never be that band ever. That does like selfie stuff. Like it just that's not our band. It's other people's, but it's not ours. And we just want to make sure that there's like a visual artistic lens accompanied to with our music. Um, so I would say the music that comes out this year will very much so there'll be an emphasis on that.
Your girlfriend had a pretty big background, right? Didn't she do one of the album covers in terms of like photography, or
She has done everything, actually.
is that kind of her department, or is it kind of just like a, hey babe, you kind of know what to do. Let's figure it
Yeah,
out together.
she's actually she's a graphic designer. She's a camera op. She's incredibly artistic, and for a while, especially when it was like this was like mostly me doing the musical side of things. Um, I very much so like heavily relied on her to like help see through. I'm not a visual guy really at all. Um, but she has always been so supportive and like rides with some ideas or like brings her own to the table with album art and like some video stuff as well. Yeah, she did Overthinking, the cover that was taken in Humboldt Park here in Chicago in the like fucking uh inside like the radius of this like oak tree that was like cut down with one of those reflective ball mirrors that you often see in gardens. If that has an actual name for it and slipping my mind, I'm gonna sound like a dumbass.
I'm sure it does, and I have no idea what it is, so
Yeah,
you're
I
good.
have no fucking clue. But yeah, it's a garden mirror. Um, but yeah, she took those pictures. She did the before I die of like you can kind of see up here. I have some of the stuff.
Gotcha.
Um, this is like fuck around A frame room with I have all my guitars over there. This is like
Damn, there's a
demo.
lot of guitars.
Yeah, ton of guitars. I kind of got have to figure that shit out. Um, but yeah, without her help, like I would be fairly dead in the water. So I'm really grateful for her contributions. Um, she rips.
Do you guys feel like, I mean, that's like we didn't even plan that, but going from She Rips, like with your guys' sound now, do you guys kind of want to keep on like the face-to-face heavier, harsher tones, or you guys gonna like, is there like a sound you guys are trying to figure out with this record, or just kind of keep going with what you guys already have?
Um, I think that if you're a fan of Face to Face, which dude, people like been loving on that shit.
It's a great song.
Especially like that was all anyone who's like listened to that so far and has like shared that, that's been all organic stuff. So super grateful for not even like fucking computers and algorithmic plays to be helping that song. That's all like fucking humans. So that shit rules. But I'll tell you what, like it's always the intent for Footballhead to be like an eclectic. Like I want our soft songs to be fucking incredible. I want like some of our shit that leads more like punk rock or like pop punk even to be incredible. I want some of our heavier shit and like even like more butt rock adjacent shit to be. I want them to like be masterpieces in their own realm.
Hmm.
Every facet and every flavor of what we do. So I think that you can expect, I think Overthinking, as far as like textures goes, like is a pretty eclectic record. I think there's like some soft stuff, some pop punk stuff. You can kind of get like a preview into like where we went, like leaning towards heavier shit. But I think if you like the harsher flavors of like Before I Die and Sliver and Face to Face, like that whole like that's like we're headed that way. We're not gonna make like an abrupt fucking left turn. But I would say that what we do put out is going to be much more polished. The composition's going to be better. The lyrics are going to be better. Like every performance aspect is going to be. I'm just so excited. I feel like I'm getting that across. But dude, we're pumped about it. So
Do you guys have like any influences kind of specific to this record or just in general that you guys are kind of partaking more now that you guys kind of can do a little bit more of like exactly what you want? Is there like a band that kind of sticks out?
yeah, I would say one that like comes to mind is Trust Company. Um, they're like kind of a band that never truly had their day in the sun, I feel like, in the way that they might have deserved to. Um, but then with that, also bands like Basement, like big ass bands with like alternative sounds. But we're definitely like, I don't know, dude, we're doing pinch harmonic shit, like, little, like, you know, nothing, we're not reinventing the wheel, but I think what makes us unique is we stitch together a lot of flavors that like potentially haven't been stitched together in the way that we are doing that now. Like
I
I don't
gotcha.
know, does that make sense? Like I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
There aren't a ton of bands out there that are doing like pop punk, butt rock, and heavy alternative music right now. They lean more towards like Deftones worship shit or like whiny pop punk or you know what I mean? Like and a lot of those bands do that stuff very well, but like our goal is to like not consciously, but dude, like I'd be such a fool if I didn't tell you I wanted to give you like an original. Like we want to be like we want to write masterpieces of our own. So
Yeah.
um it all comes organically though, dude. Like all those flavors, like, dude, we love like Breaking Benjamin just as much as we love Fall Out Boy, just as like much as like I don't know, Liam might love like Have Heart, you know what I mean? Or like I listen to like a fuck ton of pop music even. So it's just like all that passive diffusion that occurs that comes out in what we're doing, but it'll be sick, man. I'm pumped.
Before we kick it off, I guess I got final question I'll leave you with is um this is kind of more just like a favorites thing. Well, what is you guys haven't done like a ton of features or anything. What's like a band that or a guest singer that you guys would love to have on at some point? Or do you guys kind of want to keep it straight football head? Because I know some bands like that. They like to keep it just their own music, which is totally cool. But is there someone that kind of speaks out to you?
Yeah. It's funny that she doesn't even know this, but there's like a demo we have for a song, and this girl's like loosely my friend too. I know her, but her name's Emily. She plays in a band called Slow Pulp. I don't know if you know that band by any chance.
It sounds really familiar.
Yeah, I mean they're Chicago, like Alex, Henry, all of them. They live around here. They've toured Europe with Death Cab, and like they've done a
Oh,
bunch of,
Alex is in it.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's
Um,
Basement and Fiddlehead, right?
oh no, different
No.
Alex,
Okay,
different Alex.
okay. My bad,
Yeah,
my bad.
no, he plays bass in Slow Pulp, but Emily has a great voice, and I think there's like one song in particular that like I think that her voice would go crazy on. Um, but yeah, I would say like Slow Pulp would be like a sick collab because I've been like a friend, but I've been a fan for like a long time. It's crazy. I feel like a lot of like people who like hardcore and like heavier music also like Slow Pulp. I don't just dude, the songs are fucking awesome. Um, but yeah, she would be like one that I would say would be like sick to have. But dude, there's so many people. Um, I don't know though. Like I don't know like if outside of that, like what kind of feature we'd have, like whether it be guitar or like vocals. There's so many people whose like voice or scream I respect, but that's one that's just been like in my mind as we try to piece together this album.
And it actually might happen at some point.
I mean, I haven't even fucking tossed the idea to her,
Yeah,
but it just like I just know her voice would sound super cool on the part.
I gotcha. Well, thank you again, Rye. I appreciate you
Of
coming
course,
through.
man. Dude, absolutely.
Guys, there's gonna be a ton of links down below. Try to check them out at Riot Fest. That's in middle of September, Chicago. They'll be like their Spotify, their merch, all that stuff. Grab some stuff, support the bands. Thanks again, Rye. My name's Nick. I'll see you guys next time.